that once we agreed to partition, we had decided to be a continuing civilization. That is there in the Constituent Assembly debates when Sanskrit was almost made the compulsory official language, then changed to Hindi with Sanskrit vocabulary. When the ban on cow slaughter was debated in the Constituent Assembly and decided why it should be there. We have not said ban on eating of pork, for example. There's nothing pro or supportive of any Muslim practice in the Indian Constitution. But there are large amount of support for the Hindu because the mainstream of our culture is Hindu, in which many others have contributed. But we want everyone to realize we are a continuing Hindu civilization. We are not a theocratic state. Never in the history of Hindu kingdoms has ever it been a theocratic state, except during the time of Buddha. Ashoka. We were always secular till the Muslims came. Of course, they became theocratic. What practices they follow in Islamic majority countries, I don't have to tell you. You can't celebrate Diwali in Saudi Arabia, even though we have 2 million Indian workers there who are Hindus. So,
okay, sir,
therefore, please don't use words which are pejorative.
Okay.
Today, you tell me what I believe in, I'll tell you.
Okay,
I believe that Hindu Muslims are as much a part of this society and this land because their ancestors were Hindus.
Okay. I don't certainly want India to ever become Saudi Arabia. But that's another question for another day. You need to respond though to the fact that you are selectively using the constitution. Dr. Swamy has cited provisions, directive principles, uniform civil code,
let me answer. Don't waste your time.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Swamy, you are very well versed in the law. And when your name is uttered, people fear that you'll go and file a case against them. Now, let me remind you that the fundamental rights in our constitution are above directive principles. That you agree?
Agree.
Fine. Now, second, you talk about Article 44 and the cow slaughter. Now, cow slaughter provision was incorporated. The last reading of Constituent Assembly debates, which I have read in the Parliament Library, is not because of Hindu sentiment. It was on economic ground. Third point, on Article 44, I want to know from Mr. Swamy, what is the definition of uniform civil code or common civil code? Does Mr. Swamy believes in Mitakshara or the Dayabhaga school of thought? Thirdly, let me also remind him that in our country, the tribals follow polygamy and polyandry. The 2011 census clearly says that there are 42,34,294 Hindu Muslim women who are either in a bigamous marriage or have married outside the faith. Now, there are so many things in the directive principles. Why don't we impose a ban on alcohol? We know people are dying. Why don't you do it? But BJP and Sangh Parivar are stuck up with 44 and cow slaughter. Other directive principles are completely gone. So as of now, the country does not know the definition of what is a uniform civil code, what is a civil code. And let me remind you that Special Marriage Act applies only to Hindus. That if a Hindu marriage uses Special Marriage Act, then the severity for the family connections are not gone. But in a non-Hindu marries, then it is gone. Now, why Special Marriages Act should be there? Article 371, Nagaland and Mizoram, can Mr. Swamy say now that we'll take away the cultural rights of Nagas and Mizos? We cannot impose IPC over there. Mr. Swamy, can you impose Indian Penal Code in Kashmir? Can you do it? You are in power for 2.5 years. You have done nothing about 370. Forget about 370. You're not even able to take back Pandits to Kashmir. Forget about those Kashmiris. Kashmir was burning for 4 years. So all this talk of uniform civil code and cow slaughter, why don't you impose cow slaughter in or beef ban in Goa where you're in power? So this is nothing but election time, Babri Masjid, cow, uniform civil code. After election, there is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And what Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas means that no one of you should have a 500,000 rupee note. Everyone should become a beggar. So the Prime Minister says, stand up, start up, queue up, and if you die in a queue, you're a nationalist. If you're alive, we'll think about what we are definition from you.
Asauddin Owaisi, on that, just though, let's be honest, there is a trust deficit. There exists a trust deficit between, unfortunately...
Rajdeep, no, please, Rajdeep, I beg you. Now he talked about violent Islam. मैं खर्जा रखता नहीं हूँ. What about Shashank? King Shashank destroyed thousands of Buddhist stupas and put a reward of 100 gold coins on a Buddhist. Is the Sangh Parivar willing to apologize to Buddhists where this religion started over here? It is no more over here. And this Mr. Swamy, I have not chosen a constitutional monarchy. I have chosen democratic, secular Republic of India, and secularism is the ethos of this country according to Bombay judgment. And tomorrow, if Mr. Swamy allows me, if I do excavation at his house at East Nizamuddin, mark my words, I will find remnants of Rahimuddin Khan Khane Khana.
I will come back to that. I'll come back, Dr. Swamy. I'll let you respond. But I just want to understand, on Uniform Civil Code, as I said, there is a trust deficit. When you have a trust deficit, you need to take certain gestures that bridge that deficit. Look at triple talaq, for example. 20 countries across the world, including Islamic countries, Bangladesh and Pakistan, have banned triple talaq. But when it comes to Asauddin Owaisi and when it comes to Muslim clerics, you'll go to the All India Muslim Personal Law Board. You will not even accept...
No, Rajdeep, you don't do your homework properly.
No, I have done it.
No, let me tell you. I'll tell you what. Read the Muslim Marriage Act of 1960s of Pakistan. At the cost of being a Pakistani, I'm used to it, you can call me if you want. Now, in that act, it clearly says triple talaq is allowed. I'm telling you, this government has filed a petition in the Supreme Court naming so many Islamic countries. You see, Islam does not allow monarchy, so they are Muslim countries. Listen to me.
Why should in the 21st century gender justice not take precedence over the Sharia?
I'll tell you why. Let us talk on the basis of data. Let us talk on the basis of 2011 census. Let us talk on the basis of what this Bharatiya Muslim Mahila Mandal, which is very close to Sangh Parivar, their own data says that out of 1,700 odd or 17,000 surveyed it, only 2 women were given talaq on the phone, 1 through SMS and 5 through email. What are you talking about? And what is the divorce rate of Muslims? Come on, let us debate that. The problem is Mr. Modi wants to make triple talaq an issue for Uttar Pradesh. Now and suddenly this love for Muslim women has come. If that is the case, what about Ishrat Jahan? What about Zakia Jafri? What about Najib's mother? No, Rajdeep, come on. We have to ask these questions.
I am saying to overcome a yawning trust deficit.
Rajdeep, I will tell you, you talk about gender justice.
Yes.
Muslim Personal Law Board has told various Uttar Pradesh governments, please give Muslim daughters share in her father's